Welcome to the Knighthood Podcast, a comprehensive weekly analysis of the Newcastle Knights 2024 NRL season, brought to you by Michael and James. So fire up and let's go. Well, we didn't hear the team song, did we, James?
Ah, you got me all excited then. What's going on? No team song.
I did, but we are going to mix it up. We're on Sunday night, so we're going to play a bit of an intro. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Playing tough. And we're on the beers as well, so there we go. Mad Monday early.
Mad Monday, let's go.
Classic
sure,
stuff.
The boys have got one. They're one step ahead of us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do they actually still play the at the home games? Is this still their song? It definitely was in the 90s. Oh, Rabs.
Oh,
I forgot about the bit at the end with Rabs.
Fucking Newcastle.
We're not even drunk yet.
It's all over. It's all over. What do you reckon, mate? Farewell to Slogfest. Is it going to come back in 2025?
Oh, I guarantee it. I think AOB's in love with that style. I think he's 100% going to just continue what they did this year.
Yep.
I can't see any reason to change or why he'd change it. But yeah, like I think I spoke to you. I texted you earlier yesterday, and I said, "Oh, I got a good feeling about today."
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but
well, the feeling was that they turned up and they put in the effort, but they just couldn't. They couldn't finish it off, could they? So it's not been an uncommon theme in some of the bigger matches this year. I mean, ultimately, it was a repeat of the Sharks game and the same two players. If you put everything else aside and the good effort, the fact that Ponga couldn't find Gamble on the inside and just put him straight under the stick, so it's just it's horrific. It's just oh,
you're right. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot about that bomb try in the Cronulla game. I think everyone sort of focused more on the
the same thing.
The field goals, Yep. And that's the thing. We've got a history of not icing those sort of basic draw and pass situations. You just got to nail that stuff.
Yep.
100%. Really disappointing. I think if we get that, we re-energize because we were floundering a bit at that point. We're very fatigued, but I think we score there.
We have
100%.
And I mean, we'll go back a step. If Ponga kicks that goal, it doesn't hit the post, which he probably should have kicked that kick. Yeah. And then if they score there and he goes under the post and they convert, there's 8 points. Then it's over.
8. It is, yeah.
Yeah. So that's just where we are as a team at the moment, and it's unfortunate. And look, at the end of the day, look, for everyone tuning in, the Knighthood Podcast is about the performance of the club, the coaching staff, the team, and and also on profitability through betting. So that's kind of secondary. I mean, James and I, we grew up in Newcastle together. We supported the club from '88. We're both in our early 40s or mid 40s now, and we're very passionate about the Knights. So we played pretty high level as juniors ourselves. We didn't make it through all the way to the Knights, but we're super passionate about the club and the team, and I've followed it pretty closely, forever. But ultimately, we wanted to put the pod together this year because we thought we'd be able to put together a good analysis, and I wanted to educate people on betting and also improve my own betting. And we pulled off a bit of a heist this year and made a 40% return on investment. So that's pretty much unrivaled. And that's on 6 months as well. So that's an outstanding result. And look, as positive as we want to be about making the top 8, and it's probably a pass, and O'Brien's made the finals 4 years out of the 5 as his coach. We've also lost 4 out of 5 finals matches, and ultimately we have a junior nursery that is as good as it gets in Australia. I mean, James, we grew up in that nursery, and we know how competitive football is in Newcastle. It hasn't changed. It's just a matter of how they bring the talent through. So we have the nursery now. We have a club that's financially stable because of the West Group. We have a centre of excellence. We've got the best supporters in the league. If that's not a formula for a club that's challenging consistently for premierships or top 4 positions, then what are we doing? And I've seen a fair bit of commentary, since the match, and a lot of people being positive, but ultimately we've now lost 4 out of the last 5 finals matches in the last 5 years, and we're going to be very fair and very factual in what we've got to say, but I mean ultimately they're the facts. And I mean, if you're happy with that, if you're happy with 4 finals losses out of the last 5 years, I'm hearing a lot of people make comments in regards to us being a more resilient team and, us making progress and we're going in the right direction. And I really think we've taken a step back this year, and I think we've underperformed. And I think there's basically the coach is trying to build this narrative. So look, that's where my head's at. I mean, let's go through the review tonight, James. But I mean, fair and balanced. It's great that we made the 8, but ultimately we got bundled out again, and we when the pressure was on and the game was on the line, we could have won it. We lost. So, and that's ultimately I don't want to be I don't want to accept mediocrity anymore. So that's what the Nightwood's about. It's about holding the club accountable, the coaching staff, the team, and us also trying to make a profit from betting and having a bit of a good time doing it as well. Mate, we'll have a beer tonight. I'm on the Mexican Savannah.
I'm on the cheap and nasty 4x gold.
You're on the 4x gold in Queensland up there in Cairns. So, mate, mate, it's been a good year. I've really enjoyed doing it with you. It's been this is our 28th episode, and we're going to be doing a full season review on the 8th of October. So that'll give us some time to put together a real comprehensive season review, and then we kind of look forward into 2025. So, and thanks everyone for tuning in and support. We've had some good support from some loyal followers, and ultimately, let's get into it, mate. Let's get into the review, and then we can go through what happened last night. And there's a couple of interesting things I've chucked in here, and we kind of wrap up the season. It's been a long one, but it's gone very fast.
It has actually, yeah.
Rightio. So, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is the Newcastle Knights Finals Week 1 review brought to you by MB Optimal Oral Care. You can find their link in the description on YouTube and also on Spotify and on Apple. Suggest you go and check out their products on Chemist Warehouse online. Awesome oral care products that are best for you, best for the planet, eco-friendly. They've got the best tongue scrapers in Australia. So rethink your oral health today and do it through MB Optimal Oral Care at Chemist Warehouse online. Links in both descriptions on YouTube and the audios. Rightio, so overview for tonight. We're going to run through the Finals Week 1 review. We're going to go through the Knighthood Player of the Year, which is now finalised. We'll do a season review. Just in very light detail. Won't go into it too much, but we'll have a look at the result, and then we'll also go over our betting update and close out the show. So last night, James, we went down to the Cowboys 28-16. Unfortunate, we didn't get the chocolates. What's your immediate reaction?
Last night, I was very disappointed, verging on angry. More because there were things that were in our control that I felt we sort of went away from early in that second half. And then we really paid for our errors. It was really evident. Any sort of error that we made, they made us pay. And also, I think, this game, we spoke about it last week. We knew how both teams were going to play. The Cowboys want to march up the field and play as fast as they can, and that's what they were when they were at their best last night, that's what they did when they
Yep.
troubled us. And we were strangling them like a bloody python when we were doing our best, and we looked in control at times. So basically, there was nothing surprising that happened. It's just that I felt that we couldn't defend our errors, and also there was just there's no glossing over what that poor choice with Ponga not passing into Gamble and even Gagai putting it down. That's 6 points any day. But any other team would nail that, and we just didn't.
Pretty much.
But yeah, man, I'm disappointed. I thought we were there physically. I thought we were there really emotionally in it. It's just, unfortunate we couldn't get the job done.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Well, we ultimately, let me make this a bit bigger so I can read it. So we went down 5 tries to 3, and I was having a bit of a think about this. If you reverse that, remember Ponga skipped onto the outside, gave it to Lucas.
Dylan Lucas.
And Lucas, all he had to do was dummy and run, and he would have scored. And you know what surprises me? He's actually been doing that all year. He hasn't been too pass happy. And in the one moment when he should have ran, he passed it. So not having Best there probably cost us, but I reckon Best would have iced that one. Nothing against Lucas because he's been great all year. It's just one of those moments that didn't go our way. But if you reverse that, and then if you reverse that, then instantly that's 4 tries to us and 4 tries to them. And then if we score that try, the Ponga into Gamble, we win the match. And it's as simple as that. We probably win the match even if we just score the Ponga try into Gamble, or even to Gagai if he catches it, he probably would have scored as well.
Yeah, I think if he catches it, he scores.
That's how close it was, yeah.
Yeah, and there's just, after that, Gagai drops the ball. I think it was the next set that Cotter scored from that bloody, one of the most ugliest tries I've ever seen. But nevertheless, he didn't touch it, and it's a try. But that's what happened. That's what happens to teams like us. Like it's just you got to take your chances, and that's just don't want to say the universe sticking its middle finger up at us, but it's something like that. That's what happens.
Yeah, look, for me, it's a season of missed opportunity. Ultimately, if we had our side a bit more settled coming into the finals and not scraping to get into the finals with a halves combination that, it's basically a makeshift halves combination. Phoenix Crossland's not going to be our 7 next year. And it's debatable even whether Cogger will be there as well. So O'Brien really didn't get the halves combination right. And ultimately, I think the great thing that the Knights did this year, the players, I think I'm 100% with the players. I think the players did a fantastic job all year. They really aimed up and they played well for the club and for the jersey and for O'Brien. Because as I've mentioned before, I think O'Brien must be a good bloke, and he's definitely got some formula right there with the culture of the team, and that they put the effort in, but they failed to get it right tactically. He failed to get the team selections right. He didn't get the balance of the squad right. He didn't get the start to the season right, and you'll see in the press conference he was challenged by some of the media in regards to that, and some of his answers are comical. So yeah, it's to me, it's like there's definitely, he's now trying to paint a narrative about us being ugly ducklings and us playing slogfest footy and, playing on grit and determination. But that was all there last year, and we performed better. And this year's been a fail on last year.
Yeah. And I sort of feel that he's using that and it's, and to me, that's a choice. He's choosing to coach and direct the team in that manner. There's no need for them to be so conservative with the ball. That they showed last night glimpses of they've got the talent to, and with the ball in hand, but they're sticking, and like you said, they obviously just stick to what he says and they respect the guy. But yeah, he's made that choice, and I don't think it's like we have to play this style because that's the players I've got. We haven't got very talented players, so we've got to play a boring style. I think that's complete bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, James. And yeah, it's just hard to get your head around it. It's hard to get your head around. I've got some stats there when we get into their press conference stuff, and I really don't want to be seen as being negative, but I mean, I'm just putting it out there at the start because ultimately we're going to make a stand, and we're going to make a stand on this team performing to their potential. The club, the team, the coaching staff, everyone there. And it's time that, Newcastle Knights fans got what they deserve from our club, from our coaching staff, from our team. And that's to be in the top 4 and challenging for premierships. And this year, really, to me, has been a missed opportunity, unfortunately. So I've got it's great that we made the 8, and there was a bit of excitement towards the end of the year. But really, is that what we want? That's definitely not what I want, and I'm pretty sure you're the same, James.
Yeah, look, take out the last few games and how we've sort of ended the year. It wasn't a good year, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So, look, the one good thing is that the players have been aiming up all year. The effort's been there. So we definitely got effort from this side all year. There's no doubt about that. So the team stat highlights, we completed 82%, which was an improvement on last week's performance at around 78%. We increased our run meters, but got beat by the Cowboys there. We ran 18.42 to their 22.56. We made 3 line breaks to their 6. Average set distance was 46 meters to us, 50 to the Cowboys. We did 10 offloads, so we increased our offloads, and the Cowboys only had 5. 785 kick meters. We beat them in kick meters to their 725. Total tackles. We made more tackles, 423 to their 325. That's pretty glaring, and that definitely takes the energy. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe you were right there, James. You were seeing that fatigue, and that maybe that's the reason why they were making more tackles than the Cowboys, and they had a bit more juice. 41 missed tackles for us versus their 51. So even though we made an extra 100 tackles, we missed less. So that goes to show you that our defense definitely has improved this year, and we are a good defensive side. 8 errors versus their 10. So we made less errors, less missed tackles, kicked further. They got us in set, meters, and sort of, I think through the middle, they were a little bit more effective. Very close. We lost the battle of discipline 5-4. So, look, overall, James, it was a good effort. We were right there. Either side could have won the match, and it ended up going to the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys got lucky at the end of the day. And look, before we go into the player stat highlights, let's just touch on it. The reason that I didn't put a bet on is there was 2 reasons, probably 3 reasons. Number 1, we made 40% profit for the year, and I was happy just to sort of sit back and watch the match. Number 2, I had a feeling that the refereeing might be a little bit against us, and wrong. Number 3, I think ultimately, I was also feeling like I wasn't 100% sure we were going to win, but I thought we'd give ourselves a good shot, and obviously, if the ref wasn't going to be helping us out, then I didn't think that was wise to make a call. And that's why we made 40% return on investment this year, because I made the hard decision. So, but yeah, the opening 12 minutes, so they scored eventually off that intercept on the 12th, 13th minute, right? So, but the start by the ref was probably the worst start I've ever seen by a ref in a professional NRL game. And you'd have to watch it close. I mean, if you don't watch it close, you might not realize how biased it was or how bad it was. But one example was that we had 2 captain's challenges in the first 10 minutes, and we won both of them. And that's not the only thing either. But I mean, ultimately, I just thought after that 12 minutes, I thought it was quite even, but it only lasted for the start. So anyway, I just sort of make note of that because everything was against us. The fact that we're playing away, the ref was against us. We basically worked so hard to get in a position to score a try. Ponga puts us in a position to score, and we just couldn't finish it off. And that's just the taste in the mouth of this year, isn't it? Maybe
pretty much.
If we had best, we'd probably finish it. But that's okay. I mean, ultimately, you're going to not have everyone out there, and Lucas has done a pretty good job all year out there in the centers. So just one of those things. I wish he just tucked it under his arm and ran, and he would have scored easily. But that's the way it goes. We can't blame him for that. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks after that start where everything was up against it, and then if we score there, we really would have. That would have been such a strong start.
I mean, we were defending our line fantastically. I felt periods in that first half we got better defensively. We looked really. By the end, we looked comfortable, I thought. And the Cowboys were looking suffocated. They didn't know what to do because they weren't being able to play the way they wanted to play. But oh man, I was worried. Straight that first set, the Cowboys, they got a leg up straight away. I was this ref, and I don't even think we got one set restart. I don't think we got one.
We didn't get one.
I think
no, we didn't get one.
So yeah, they got quite a few leg ups, and we
got the penalties, and they got the set restarts. How do you figure that out?
Yeah, so it was
anyway. Let's not go on about the refs all night, but I think ultimately I just wanted to make a point that I was dreading the referee before the match. I thought that was one thing that could really swing it to the Cowboys' favor, and it was all about the ref for me in the first 11 minutes. And
did Taumalola deserve 10 in the bin? I liked the hit. I thought it was a good hit, but was it high?
Nah.
Like
no
shoulder in the head?
Nah.
Yeah. You happy with that?
Play on.
Yeah, I thought it was, but then I saw some footage later and I thought it was, but yeah, I'm just picking at straws there.
Do you think Thompson deserved to get 10 minutes in the bin?
I didn't think it was that bad. It was a bit of a arm out, and then
it just looked dramatic. It wasn't 10 in the bin either.
Yeah, nothing in
it. As soon as he went to the bin for 10, it was all over. Even though there was a few minutes left, the Knights just choked, and they didn't. They just didn't. They didn't handle that last 8 minutes very well. They could have easily come back and scored another try. I mean, ultimately, every time the Knights from their own half shift to the right hand side, Ponga makes a break. I mean, what was that match Ponga did? He made the break. I think it was against the Roosters. Remember, we had to score a try. He made the break, and he got. He got tackled, but he got held down for about 6 seconds.
Yep.
And they didn't give us a penalty, and it should have been a sin bin. God. Anyway, this has been some frustrating moments this year, hasn't there, mate? So,
yeah.
Anyway, so that we won't go into the refs too much more than that, but there were some definitely key things that happened, and we got stitched up in the first 10 minutes. If you go back and watch the first 10 minutes of the match, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look at it closely. So, player stat highlights: KP 2 try assist. He was. I mean, he looked as dangerous as the best he's ever looked. So you can't deny KP's an elite player, and he's the type of player that can help us win a premiership. And if the club get it right with building the right squad around him, maybe we will win a premiership sometime in the next 5 years while he's there at the club. He's 26 now, James. I think you said he was in his late 20s. He's not. He's only 26. So we've got him for another 3 seasons. Well, how's this for a question? Do you think we're going to win a premiership in the next 3 years? But does it start from this foundation now? Does it start with O'Sullivan coming here as a recruitment manager now? They're going to clean out this roster. I think they'll go a step back next year, and it's going to be maybe some younger players in the team. But is it going to be that team, that foundation they build next year that gets us a premiership in the next couple of years after that?
Look, it's hard to say. One thing is for sure that they got to for how long we've got Kalen, whether that's the next 3 years. Obviously, it is. He's signed for that period. Then
3 years. Yeah.
You would hope that we're pushing at least. If we can make top 4 in those next couple of years, then we give ourselves a shot. But again, like you said, it comes down to recruitment and key recruitment and getting it right. And also, I think one of the big things is AOB's strategy and the way he wants to play. I mean, I can't see that being sustainable, the whole slogfest for a whole year and winning a comp. I just can't see it. In these times, in these ages. No,
it's not 1997 anymore, isn't it? It might stack up for a portion of the season, or it might stack up for finals. If you get yourself into a better position on the ladder and you come in with a healthy squad, you might be able to play that style of footy. If you, let's say you finish in the top 4, you win the first week of the finals, you get a week off, you've only got to do it 2 more times. That's definitely possible, but expecting to do that from 8th position, it's not going to happen.
And the best teams they can go up a gear, they can pull it back. A Penrith or a Melbourne. We seem to have only one gear, really.
Yeah. I mean, without being too negative, I mean, we played some good football, and we had the Cowboys. We had them. We were actually, I think, the better team, and the Cowboys are stacked. They got 6 Origin players, so there's like I said, the main view, the line that we have, and the way that we come to our opinion is based off the fact that we should be a top 4 side challenging premierships, and we should be going in that direction. So anyway, KP outstanding, and look, I'm going to give Jayden Brailey a big rap here, because I just think in our season preview, James, I was really not sure whether we should have even kept Brailey for this year, and I didn't think he would be able to get through a full season fit, and he has. So look, hats off to Jayden Brailey, outstanding effort. And I think his football in the last month has been really good.
He's improved. Yep.
He gets through a lot of work with the tackles, and he makes some darts out of dummy half, and he doesn't make too many errors. And I mean, there's all this talk about him leaving next year, but I mean, who better have you got to replace him with? You obviously got Arthur coming in from the Eels, but I think he's 19. So I'd like to see Brailey stay at the club. He's a great guy. He's a clubman. He's a captain. I think it's ludicrous that we'd let him go after the season he's had, and he's only going to get better with another preseason under his belt.
Yeah, and I mean, it also depends what the future, what the plan is for Phoenix. What do they see in his future as far as where he's going to play? Do you see him as a long-term halfback at Newcastle? I
see him as a 14. I see him as our 14. Personally, he's been proven that he's not going to be a starting 7. And look, he does well in hooker, but he's you wouldn't call him an elite class hooker. I mean, you call him I think he's a really good 14. He's got versatility. He can cover the halves. He can cover the hooker position. He can go into 13. So he's got a few key positions there that he can play and cover based off injuries, and also reducing workload for the hooker. I think he's our 14. I think he's our Kurt Gidley.
And a replacement for what? Because Kurt Mann was our 14 as well, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah. So, look, in saying that as well, I think he's had to deal with a pretty hard season. A lot of guys have been shifted around because he came off the back of being our best player last year, like most consistent. And he started there, and then he got moved, and he's been all over the shop. Lucas is the same as well. So it must be really disrupting for a guy like that to not know where you're heading, really. But look, they're professionals; they get paid the big bucks. So
that's why I think he's a good 14. He's versatile. He's used to it, and it's part of his character now, and it's part of his resume. So I think he's our best 14, and bringing Arthur to the club next year, obviously a talented player, a younger player, he may bring a bit more of a edge to the hooking position, and maybe he does replace Brailey. But are you going to really go in with a 19-year-old over season campaigner in Brailey, who I think will get better next year? So if he does get offloaded and he goes to another club, mate, Braden, just from us, I think you've had an outstanding year, and thanks for the contribution to the club, and hats off to you, mate. You're going to get my Clubman of the Year award. We're going to go and do a full review on the 8th of October, so tune in for that, anyone. The link will be on after this show. We'll have a link on there on our YouTube station for that. So keep that in mind because that's going to be comprehensive. No one will do a better review of the season what the Knighthood podcast done. And Jaden Brayley, Clubman of the Year for the Knighthood, outstanding, overcoming a major knee injury, not missing basically a game I think this year. In the last 4 weeks, your form has been outstanding. Let's run through some more stats. Elliott made 42 tackles. The kettle was boiling again. Had another good game. Well done. Yep. KPP, 42 tackles of those long arms of his. He doesn't miss many either. So, and I thought KPP was really good last night. In terms of running, Marju, how good has Marju been for the back end of this, maybe Killing the last 10 matches? So good.
It's the cornrows.
He has his weaknesses under the high ball, and they targeted that the Cowboys last night. But no one's perfect, and ultimately, I just thought he was outstanding. He didn't really make any bad errors. He gave 100% and did all the hard work. And fuck, it pisses me off how they hold him down, and the ref doesn't do anything about it. It's just like. Really, it frustrates me. I don't understand how the teams, and it's a common theme. I don't know why they get away with holding Marju down. So maybe it's the way Marju kind of flips around like a fish and tries to get up. But they're obviously, he's a powerful guy, and they're trying to hold him down. And it's just that's a frustrating thing for me. Marju, we gave you some criticism, warranted criticism at the start of the year when your form was down, but something changed, mate, and outstanding. He's regularly been in our 3-2-1s in the last kind of 10 weeks, mate. So well done, Marju. Ponga, 207 meters, awesome match. Just unfortunate he couldn't polish it off. You'd probably expect the Ponga, the way that the media talks about him, like his sun shines out of his butt. And they talk him up so much. But, ultimately he missed that kick, hit the post. It didn't draw past to gamble on the inside. If we do those two things, we win the match and we're in the second week of finals. James, you sent me the meme. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that, the one that's got Barley with Gay Guy, and then finals week 2 of gamble on the inside. And look, it's hard to be critical of KP. I thought he looked electric, and probably he's just got too much on his shoulders in this team to execute 100% all through the game. If he was in a more balanced team, maybe we ice those moments, and we're talking about a preview of week 2 for finals and not at the end of the year, as we are right now drinking our beers. So, Lucas, 192 meters. Like, how good has Lucas been all year?
Great.
Do you want to come up with an award for Lucas, mate? It's the inaugural Knighthood player. He's got to win an award. What is he?
Oh, I can't come
most
up with
consistent.
Right now.
Most consistent. Let's go back to footy days. Most consistent.
We'll go with that. Yeah. The consistency award goes to Dylan Lucas. He's just been and he's a local, isn't he? He's is he from?
I think he's from down south, but he's come
down south. Is he?
But I think he's come through the system. So
we'll claim
Dylan
him.
Lucas. Most consistent award for the Knighthood podcast for 2024. Outstanding.
Under trying circumstances as well. He's been moved around. He's played center. He's played back row. He's on the bench. Yeah, great effort.
Outstanding. DSAF came out on social media that it was his last match last night. There was a photo of him and Frizzell talking about that's his last match. So, hang on. Not Frizzell, was Gay Guy.
Yeah.
But DSAF, thanks for your contribution, mate. Like you said in an article I read, you have been there through the rebuild, through the hard times, and you've stuck with that team through the shit, basically. And you became a state of origin player, and you definitely were inconsistent. Probably didn't consistently play to your potential, but you definitely made a great contribution to the club. So thanks, DSAF. And I thought DSAF's form, James, was pretty good for the back end of the year. Wasn't so good at the start.
I thought he sort of it's sort of strange with the two brothers because Daniel started off as the more dominant and rep player, and then Jacob became a rep player when Daniel went down, and I sort of feel that Daniel, towards the end of the year he was the stronger of the two. Obviously, I mean, Jacob's had some injuries and stuff, hasn't he? But look, I feel he really played well from the middle half to the end of the season. He was really having a crack. Yeah, look, he's always got a bit of inconsistency there. He's always got a few errors in him or missed tackles and stuff. But I couldn't fault his. There was a massive improvement from previous even seasons. I thought he played really well in the second half of the year this year.
Yeah, so DSAF, mate, thanks again for your contribution. Definitely played a good match last night in your last match as a Knights player. And enjoy your Mad Monday, mate, and enjoy the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure you're going up there. So, Brodie Jones, some of those runs through the middle, how good were they?
That was his best game I've ever seen him play for Newcastle last night. He was that was fantastic. He was a man possessed. They couldn't put him down. He was just we've always known him as like a toiler, and he doesn't he's not too impactful. He just does his job.
A wrecking ball.
Under the radar, but they couldn't put him down. He was just
awesome.
Must have been eating his spinach before. He was very very strong. Yeah. So really impressed with Brodie. Great effort, and I thought he had a really strong end to the season as well. Yeah,
and it's crazy to think that we're talking about not re-signing him into the squad. Like, what are they thinking? How do you not? The guy's got a farm apparently in around Cessnock somewhere. He's a local junior. He's not going to be accepting. He's getting better. He's not going to be expecting a big salary.
Yeah,
like, fuck it. Wake up to yourself anyway. Like, O'Sullivan, I know you've been brought here to club do a job, but if you've got any common sense at all, you keep Brodie like that. That's the fabric of our club. And you've got to have Brodie Jones in your team. We cannot lose Brodie Jones.
Yeah. And you saw that last night, the way he played. The
way he plays is outstanding.
Full of passion. Yeah. And he's getting better.
He's getting better. We cannot lose him. So anyway, shout out Brodie Jones, mate. We wholehearted player from Cessnock, and I think you're the fabric of the club. And mate, we really hope you stay. I'd hate to see us lose him now. It's it's kind of like losing Josh King. For a long time, Josh King, people were critical of him, and then look what he's done down in Melbourne. I mean, maybe Melbourne would pick up a Brodie Jones, and then look what he's going to do down there. Potentially the same kind of thing as Josh King. So let's not make the same mistakes we've made before. I mean, a Josh King right now would be good for the Knights. So let's not lose big bad Brodie Jones. Leo Thompson, 115 meters. Look, he hasn't achieved the levels that he could potentially achieve, but I don't think he's missed a game really all season. Maybe he's missed 1 or 2 rounds at the most. Look, it's great to have him in the side, and he played pretty well last night. I thought when he got smashed there by Tamalolo, he got up and he's pretty staunch. He's an alpha, so he's not going to take that lightly, and he didn't. And then he fired up at the end and he got 10 in the bin. That didn't help us, did it? So, mate, Thompson hopefully has a good off season and focuses on how he can be a bit more consistent and maybe a little bit more even aggressive, and be a bit more of an enforcer. Because it's in his blood, but he just hasn't seemed to be that enforcer that we thought he was going to be this year. Mate, go and get on the farm with big bad Brodie Jones and eat some spinach and fire up for next year. Have a good off season.
Look, I think Leo actually that was probably the most aggressive I saw him play last night, particularly in the opening stanza of the game. I thought he was really getting into it, but look, we need him to be dominant. We need him to be like that, like you said, that sort of spearhead, and he sort of hasn't been that this year. Yeah, and especially now we've lost DSAF, we'll only have JSAF, so it's critical for next year. Yeah, Cogger got 472 kick meters, and we outkicked
they're talking up the Cowboys kicking game there with what's his name? Clifford.
Clifford, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a good boot on him. Look, Dane Gagai, as you'll see on the Player of the Year ladder, he's up there, amongst our kind of top 5 players for the year, James. But he failed to draw past to Ponga to win us the match against the Sharks. There's been some real up and down stuff I've seen from him in the back end of the season. And as good as he's been this year, is the clock starting to catch up to Gagai? Is he starting to get to the end? Can you see him going on next year? Because he missed 6 tackles last night. He dropped that catch. I mean, that was a catchable, even though it was not the greatest pass from Ponga, it was very catchable. Even if he just dived at it and caught it and not dropped it. It's very easy for us to sit here and say that. But, I mean, you're a State of Origin player, strike player. I mean,
there was also that early error in the game, when he went close to the sideline and that really under pressure offload to Fletcher Sharp, which he had no chance.
He's been doing weird stuff for the last 4 weeks. Yeah. So look, as good as Gagai's been this year, and I've seen that he's taken out Player of the Year for some other prominent journalists and podcasts around, and we can't dispute that Gagai's been really, really good this year. But there's been some critical stuff in the last 4 weeks that he's done, and
it's cost us.
Looking into next year, does he make a move to the wing? Is he gonna, do you bring someone through like McCarthy and really try and get a bit more of a youthful match in there? I don't know. Because he's been good. So he's been up and down, a bit like the kettle, hot and cold. But overall, it's been an outstanding year. He played State of Origin. Let us down in some key moments towards the end of the year. But, great year for Gagai, and he's a great clubman as well. And I don't know. He'd almost get an award, wouldn't he, as well, James? It's presentation night. Well,
everyone's going to get a participation award this year, aren't they?
Well, maybe, yeah, but if you were going to give out an award to Gagai, what would it be?
Consistently bombing tries. Not consistently. Most bomb tries in a season. I'm not sure.
That's a bit harsh.
Sorry, Dane.
That's a bit harsh. Yeah. I don't know. We'll think about it. Maybe in the final review, we'll come up with an award. But
I've got one.
Yeah,
the back from the brink award. He was languishing. He was never going to play Origin again. Yeah, the back from the brink award. No one ever thought he'd play Origin again. He put in the put in the work. Played great. Billy called him back, and next minute he's playing Origin again. So
that's great.
That's
great, and he
oblivion.
I think he deserved it as well. But
yeah.
Moving into 2025, I'm not so certain that he'll be our centre all year. And I did make that comment at the start of the year, and I got a bit of pie on my face, huh? But maybe we're starting to see the signs of that now towards the end of the season. And look, maybe he just needs a rest. It's been a long year. Yeah. KP only made 2 errors, and when you've got so much weight on your shoulders, I mean, that's a pretty good effort at the end of the day, isn't it? So that's the player highlight stats there, James. And now we'll go into your final analysis for the final time in 2024. So let's wrap up this match versus the Cowboys, mate.
Yep, no worries. So my first point here, as expected, it was a physical start by both teams. The Knights withstood some early attacking raids by the Cowboys. Unfortunately, they threw an intercept for the try while attacking the Cowboys line. And off the back of that, we just actually got away from, defending our line, and off the back of the refs sort of gifting the Cowboys field position. So really bit of a kick in the guts there. Next point, the Knights really started to dominate the ruck and field position due to a good kicking game. Cogger was really nailing it around this period. They were frustrating the Cowboys side that likes to play a free-flowing style of footy. We mentioned that last week, how they like to play. They like it their own way. The Knights looked comfortable leading in the halftime. We led 12-4, and I was feeling optimistic. I thought, we keep it up. We've got this.
We should have won from
there. Yeah. And also we nearly scored that try to Frizzell, and you actually said to me, if we get that, they're gone. We just couldn't get
That's
it.
how close it was, huh?
Yeah. There's a lot of moments in that game. Next point. We were a bit slow out of the gates. It proved really costly in the second half compared to the Cowboys. They really came out, seemed a lot quicker, and we were just a bit, I wouldn't say we were slow, but we just didn't match them. 2 errors culminating in 2 tries to the Cowboys, which got them to, I think it was a 16-12 lead. They scored off a Hetherington drop ball, and I can't remember the second one. I think it was
Cogger. It was a 7 tackle set.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yep. Yeah, so, and they just marched up the field and really made us pay. From the 52nd minute to the 70th minute mark, it was just a grind, but it was around this period I felt the Knights were really struggling, fatiguing. The Cowboys were smashing us up the middle. Bomb try at the 69th minute mark was a nail in the coffin for me. As soon as we dropped that, I was like, we're done. That was the moment. I just felt it. A try would have brought back the energy, needed to go on and win, but sadly it wasn't to be. Next point, after the Knights bombed the try, the Cowboys scored a scrappy try to Ruben Cotter. It was so ugly, but it's 4 points. Tom did nice the game, breaking through a fatigued Newcastle defense to seal a 28-16 win to the Cowboys. And my final point, a great effort, but lost the game in some key moments, and that's what I think it came down to. It was just key moments, key errors, where we couldn't.
That's what it was.
Ice those moments. Yeah.
Yep, it's disappointing. I just feel like it's a missed opportunity this year. I think we should be in the second week of the finals minimum, and we should be potentially in that sort of prelim kind of situation this year with the squad that we've got. But we didn't do it, and there's no point crying over spilt milk, but we just got to have a bit of a rest, mate, and dust ourselves off and
get back in it next year.
We've got some big plans for next year, the Knighthood, which I'll talk about towards the end of this. And while we're talking about awards there, James, get your head above Angelo's comment there. But you're like Dickie Knee. You remember Dickie Knee?
What's going on?
We got Dickie Knee. Angelo, thanks for tuning in on a Sunday. We kind of sprung it. We didn't plan to do it, but I just thought I wanted to get this out of the road, finish the week off so I can, focus on work and other things and not sort of be harping on a Knights loss on a Tuesday. So, mate, just a shout out to you. You've probably been our number one supporter. We never met. We don't know you, but you've chimed in a lot this year and you've supported us. So you are the Knighthood Player of the Year. Sorry, Knighthood Podcast of the Year. Supporter of the season. There you go, James.
The inaugural number one supporter of the podcast.
Number one supporter of the podcast. Now, Angela, at some stage, mate, what I'll do, I can't promise you a timeline on this, but when I do another print run for shirts and hats, mate, I'll get out, or if we do, I'm not sure if we'll do shirts, but we're definitely going to be doing the hats. So I'll get your address and stuff, and I'll post off a Knighthood podcast hat for you, at least as a minimum, maybe a t-shirt as well. So that's your reward for being such a good supporter this year, mate. We appreciate it. And your comment here is that this roller coaster season is done, and yeah, mate, you have rode it with us, and you know what it's been about. So played a solid game and agree on the refereeing, and there were some moments though, and basically we just got to look forward now and get some more improvement. So yeah, mate, thanks for your comment, and it's disappointing to lose in the first week of the finals, but like you said, we're going to look forward, and next year we're going to be stepping things up with the podcast, and hopefully the Knights have a good off season, and we get things right with the recruitment. But who knows? It might be a bit of a step back, with the kind of rebuild of the roster, unfortunately. So we're still got to stay tuned, and that's what we're going to be doing over the off season. We're going to be doing a lot of updates in regards to the roster. that'll be the main focus of the Knighthood in the off season. Yeah, look, I might as well quickly chuck in another comment here as well. So, Pete Bang, mate, thanks for tuning in and chucking in chiming in a comment there. And yeah, I hope that's a good call. We get Adam G and Belinda Sharp as refs next year, and we get them at home. What do you reckon, James? That might put things in our favour a bit. Thanks for the comment, Pete. I hope we do get him at home and we get Adam G and Belinda Sharp. While we're on the comments, Angela's done another shout out here. So yeah, thanks to that, mate. We appreciate you chiming in regularly into the Knighthood podcast. It's been a good year. I don't know if you're a betting man either there, Angelo, but we pulled off the heist of 40% profit. So hopefully you got some good tips along the way as well. Right here, James, let's get into the next bit. We'll run through our 3-2-1s for the final match of the year. Whoa, we've lost James. Well, I'm going to keep going, and he'll pop up his head in a second, and we'll get him back into the show. So, James, his 3 points went to Kalen Ponga, and as we've touched on, it's been an outstanding effort from Ponga. He's really stepped up in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Ever since, actually, funnily enough, ever since Hastings got dropped from the side, and apparently attacking coach Green. There we go. We'll get James back in there. He is. He's back.
More gremlins. What's going on there?
He is. He's back in there, mate. I'm just cracking on without you. So I was just talking about basically when KP, I think they had a bit of a stern chat to him about 4 or 5 weeks ago when they dropped Hastings, and they said, you got to take more control of this side. And I think ultimately that's why they picked Crossland and Cogger in the halves, because that allowed Ponga to take more control of the team. And look, it paid off. I mean, ultimately, it didn't pay off ultimately for us to win a finals match, but we still made the finals and gave it a good crack. But yeah, it was just a really good end to the season from KP. Yeah, just a shame we couldn't just ice those final few moments. And look, the rest of your 3-2-1s, James, you might as well go through and give us your comments on there, Marju and Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Greg was a powerhouse again out of the backfield. He's just been on fire, particularly the last month. But yeah, he's been so strong for us the last 2 months, I'd say, after a bit of a patchy start of the year. He got my 2 points. My 1 point, Brodie Jones, best game I've seen him play for the club. He was really strong. They couldn't put him down. He was just exactly what we needed off the bench. He made an impact, and well deserved. Keep it up, Brodie. You know,
well, let's keep him at the damn club.
Yeah,
we'll be keeping a close eye on that. So yeah, as I mentioned, we will be making one of the things that I've done pretty religiously since 2017 in the rebuild years is keep a spreadsheet of all the players that have come in and out of the club, and I keep a pretty close eye on that type of stuff. So what I might announce now, actually, we'll have a website, and on that website there'll be a section where I'm going to make my spreadsheet downloadable, or I might even feed it into the website. We'll see. We do this on a shoestring budget, so I can only put so much time and effort into it. But I mean, ultimately, I gave you the spreadsheet at the start of the year, didn't I? The Bible. I've passed the Bible on to you. We're going to pass on to everyone else as well, so we can educate people about the roster. And I'll be sharing a lot of news in regards to roster management over the off season. That'll be the main topic for news, and anything that sort of is relevant for club and stuff as well. So yeah, we will have a website. We'll have a blog on there. So we'll have a betting blog. We'll have a performance blog for each match throughout the season, and we'll also have a section in there for roster management. So they're the 3 things, and we're going to be focused on. And I think it'll add a lot of value for the Knights fans who really want to get their teeth into what's happening at the club and within the coaching staff and then within the team. And, and for everyone who wants this team to be a consistent top 4 performer, because we're gonna drag, we're gonna demand from the club that we are. That's what we as fans and supporters and lovers of the club. We bleed red and blue. We demand it now. We demand to have a team that's challenging for the top 4 and challenging for premierships. And unfortunately, we've landed a bit short this year. So anyway, guys, look out for that. We're going to announce all of this stuff in the final review, which is on the 8th of October, just after the grand final. So, James, the inaugural Knighted Player of the Year this year for 2024 is Kalyn Ponga.
Yeah, the thing is, when he's on a run and he's on fire, he's basically guaranteed the 3 points, isn't he? He's that influential in our team. He's just, and I'm not even sure how many games he played this year. He missed 10, didn't he, at one point?
I think O'Brien said in the press conference last night that he's missed 11 matches, or I think he missed 11. I don't know exactly what the figure was, but yeah, I was a bit less. He played a bit more than 50% of the season.
That just shows you how influential he is in that team, that he can, win the Player of the Year and play just over 50% of the games. And you got other guys there playing. Obviously, he's the marquee player and the position he plays, he's always going to be getting the footy. But just a great player. Hopefully, we get the best. We can make the most of him being at the club, and we'll push for a premiership. Really, I don't think we're going to be winning the premiership next year with the rebuild that's going on and the roster kind of reshuffle. But ultimately, what we're looking at here is I'm seeing a window. Basically, we've got O'Brien contracted for 3 years, and we've got Ponga there for 3 years. Now, whether O'Brien makes it through next year or not, we'll find out. But let's just say he's there. I mean, they've got to build the squad around Ponga now, O'Sullivan, and apparently he's the best in the game. So can they build a squad around Kalyn Ponga now? This is what we're really going to be watching very closely at the Knighthood. And we're going to be holding them accountable over this tenure with Ponga in the 2026 and 27 seasons. That's when we should be that's when we should be really aiming to make top 4 and challenging to win a comp. So I guess that's the target that we're going to set is 26 and 27. That's our premiership window. Are we going to win a comp? Because, it's been a long stint since 2001, right, James? So yeah,
it's like Jared Haynes said, it's been a long time.
Well, when you think about it, 2001, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it's 23, 24 years ago now. It's crazy. Time's flying. So, we want to rectify that sooner rather than later. That's for sure. We don't want to be like the Eels when everyone's talking about 986.
Yeah. So, look, congratulations to Kalyn Ponga. We hope that you can help us get a premiership, and we're probably not going to be expecting it next year with everything that's going on, the roster reshuffle, but 26 and 27, that's what we're looking for here at the Knighted Podcast. We're looking for top 4 and premierships. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with the roster over the next 12 months. And we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that here at the Knighted Podcast. And congratulations to a host of other players there in that list. Bradman Best, I think, has had a really outstanding season. Dylan Lucas, Dane Gagai, Greg Marju. James, we're going to be running through and giving every player in the top 30 squad a rating in our season review on the 8th of October, as I've mentioned. So you'll see the link there. It's a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, just after the grand final. So don't miss that. It's going to be comprehensive. What do you think of this comment here from Pete Pang, James? In front of sold out Mac Jones or Marathon Stadium, Leo Thompson is going to get Taumalolo next year. What do you reckon? I like the sounds of that.
Yeah, he should be fired up.
The rematch.
Is Taumalolo going around next year? He's looking sort of towards the end, isn't he? I know he signed that big 10-year. He had that 10-year deal. Remember, surely he's coming towards the end of that. But yeah, of course. I'd love to see Leo fire up and give it to Taumalolo at Marathon Stadium. Give it to him.
Yeah, good call, Pete Pantelli. Well, we'd love to see. He's got Thompson this year in the off-season, mate. He's going to be going to Brodie Jones's farm. Brodie's getting the upgrade contract extension, and they're going to be eating spinach and firing up. And Thompson's going to come out and be our enforcer next year. Big bad Brodie Jones is going to be there as well, and he's roll off the bench. So anyway, there's a bit of a laugh. Rightio, let's get into the press conference notes now. I got to rub my face a bit because, mate, Adam O'Brien and his press conferences. As much as I want to like this guy and support him, he makes it hard. So look, I'm going to go over some things here that I wasn't impressed by. So look, some comments he made. Not a great start, but they managed it. Yeah, we've touched on that. He said, other than the scoreboard, he said it was a pretty good performance. Guess what, mate? At the end of the day, all that matters is really the scoreboard, isn't it? So, the scoreboard matters if you want to get through. It's like the scoreboard doesn't matter, the ladder doesn't matter. Like, what fucking does matter? Some of the comments he makes just really piss me off. Anyway, that's just the way he is. We're going to have to get used to it because he's got signed for 3 more seasons. And he got a tick there with his little contract thing too. They didn't finish 13th or worse, so he's got that 3rd year. So anyway, he said it's never nice losing a finals game. Well, he would know really well about that because we've lost four finals matches with him and won 1. He says that we've been gritty and tough all year, and this is the bullshit narrative that he's trying to spin. He's basically saying that no one really gave him a chance all year, and they stuck together and they fought, and they all these critics basically saying the Knights are shit and they're not a good team, and
I don't believe that at all.
It's just rubbish. It's just a narrative that he's trying to spin to deflect away from his shit decisions that he's made this year. They got off to the wrong foot. After apparently they had an awesome off season. They had a really good roster coming into this season. A lot more balanced squad, and coming off the momentum from last year, and they made an absolute dog shit start to the year. I think we went two wins and 4 losses, and we had 4 home games, right? So I've got these notes here: 4 home games, and we only won two out of the first 6. So he's just trying to spin this narrative and deflect away from what actually went wrong, and that's he got the start of the season wrong with the team. He didn't get the balance of the squad right with the halves, and that really just disrupted the team throughout the season, as you predicted it would, James. So he says they turned the corner in terms of DNA. Well, I've got news for you, O'Brien. I mean, that was there last year as well. Last year's performance, we won 14 matches. We had 1 draw and we lost 9, right? So how can you say that we've turned the corner with DNA when you've gone from a season and we finished 5th with 14 wins, 1 draw and 9 losses, and now this year we finished 8th with 12 wins and 12 losses? Now
that's a rig.
Well, let me keep going on. So our defense has improved, and we are a better defensive team this year. But look, we had 510 points scored against us in 2024. But look how many we had scored against us in 2023. 451.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure I got that right. So it's we only scored 470 points this year. Last year we scored 626. So, and if you chuck in the fact that we're only 1 from 5 in finals, 20% strike rate, how we can say that we've turned the corner in terms of and spinning this narrative about, I just think it's bullshit.
And I think
is that just me, James, or are you seeing what I'm seeing as well?
Yeah, and I think he's sort of playing off the fact that they're playing this grinding style of footy and that they're tough and they're resilient and stuff like this. And I totally think he is deflecting. He Because when you look at it, it's right there in not black and white, but blue and white. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, you're fifth last year. Defensively, you were better, and you scored more points than this. I don't remember us getting flogged last year. We might have one game, but
mate, I'm questioning myself, and I've had to go back onto NRL.com and just double check these figures, but the figures are 100% accurate. So we've actually there was more points scored against. I got a third check it. I can't get my head around it. So this year, against us, we've had 510 points scored against us. Last year, we only had 451. Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go. Look, at the end of the day, this is the type of stuff that we do. And this is how we can hold them accountable and not let them spin our narratives. And look, O'Brien, he's not going to. Well, this is just a straight up, factual review. It's nothing against him. It's no agenda. We just want to see, right? We want to bloody see this team perform. And that's what we deserve as fans. We don't deserve these fucking bullshit press conferences when he just comes in here and spins his bullshit. What does he think? Well, you know what? A lot of fans buy into it, but they're not going to. Anyone who listens to this and looks at the facts is not going to be buying into it. So
yeah, he can't say we're better this year because we weren't. We came fifth last year. We came eighth this year. No matter how much he wants to spin it, it's just rubbish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's obviously got a bit of that in him. He knows how to manipulate stuff, and
he doesn't do it well though.
No,
his press conferences are a shambles. And look, the last thing I want to be doing is bashing up on O'Brien. We just got beat.
But what's the local?
God,
what's the local media doing? What's Barry Toohey doing? Why isn't he calling him out?
Barry Toohey is a well-respected Newcastle journalist, and he's got a lot of respect from me, and he's been around a long time. But at the end of the day, I don't want to pinpoint Barry Toohey because he's a good bloke and he's been around for a long time, and I got a lot of respect for him, and a lot of people do, and he's probably the godfather of media in Newcastle. But respectfully, I do also, at the end of the day, he's closer to the club than what we are, and it's probably a lot harder for him to be so cutthroat in terms of his analysis. So his views are a little bit more balanced between the club and maintaining a relationship, and
makes sense.
Yeah. So, but he's a great journalist. So full respect to Barry Toohey. But I mean, ultimately, I think we're allowed to be a little bit more direct and cutthroat. That's kind of where we are. We're only doing it with We're only doing it with the objective for us to have a high-performing football team, and no different to that you'd see from any other top-performing football club like a Melbourne Storm. So anyway, there you go. The stats don't lie. Go and check it out for yourself. There's a ladder. You can go and check out the ladder, the for and against. So in 2023, we scored 626 points against 451. And in 2024, we scored 470 versus 510. So how you can say that our DNA has been turned the corner, it's just ridiculous. So then a journalist asked him directly about our poor start to the season, which was a bloody great question. And you know what he did, James? He blamed Ponga. He got stumped. And he said he stumbled a bit, and then he blamed Ponga for being out for 11 weeks. So what did I do? I went and checked to see how relevant that response was to the question. It was totally.
We won the first four without Ponga, didn't we? We won our first four.
No. We lost. We actually lost our first stuff. We lost two. Sorry, we won two and lost four out of our first six matches. That Ponga played in every match. Yeah. He played in the first six matches. In the seventh match against the Bulldogs, he got injured.
That's right, yeah.
So, that's just absolute rubbish. Ponga was not injured in the first 6 weeks. That's got nothing to do with the start of the season and a 2 wins and 1 4-loss record. But that he go and watch the press conference again. That's what he said. Ponga was out for 11 weeks.
Well, he was hoping he could say that, and then they just swallow it, really.
And then he also went on to say this. He said he talked about basically having a lot of quality players on the sideline, including Best. Well, guess what? Bradman Best was also in the first 6 matches, and I think he was leading the United Player of the Year ladder at that stage.
Yeah.
And then I've got in capitals there, absolute bullshit. And then I've prompted myself to look at the next slide. So let's quickly have a look at this. So NRL physio, right? Final injury ladder numbers for 2024. Guess what? Newcastle Knights are ranked 16th with 69 injuries in terms of that's how many games were missed. We had the most healthy squad in the NRL.
Yep.
Absolute. Well, this is pretty scathing for O'Brien, isn't it? We're calling him out. Nothing personal. But that's how you present yourself in a press conference. I know you just got beat in a semi-final, but yeah, I mean, we demand better response from our coach when we've just been bundled out of the finals in week 1. And then he didn't stop, James. He went on to blame the tough draw. And guess what I did? I went and had a look at our draw. We played 4 home games and 2 away games in the first 6 weeks. We won 2 games and lost 4. So the question from the journalist was very relevant. Poor start to the season, and we also did the same thing, similar thing the year before. So yeah, the responses are absolutely terrible. Rubbish. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I cannot believe the absolute shit that's come out of his mouth there. Sorry, mate. It's just rubbish. We deserve better.
It's good. It's good to call him out. I mean,
well, no, I'm not trying to do it on purpose, mate. I'm just I'm there sitting analysing a press conference after we've just been beaten and knocked out of the finals, and I just couldn't believe the shit that was coming out of his mouth. Anyway. Fuck me, mate. He's the one at the end of the day who's got to get us to a premiership. So we're well behind the 8 ball here. And I don't know, some big things have got to happen in the off season. And that leads me into this as well. He was basically asked, right, by the same journalist, I think. He said, do you have another gear in the cogs? Do you have another gear in the years ahead to challenge for a premiership, right? And he says, well, I hope so. Yeah, well, we're not content. I hope so. Yeah, well, we're not content. And then he stumbled on and talked about how the club and the organisation need to make some decisions to bring success to Newcastle.
He just talked shit.
You're not wrong about that, and that includes whether you should be our head coach and whether you're the head coach to take us to a premiership. And whatever else these other decisions are, obviously they're going to be around roster management. Let's hope, let's hope they don't fuck that up too. And then we've got to go through. If we don't win a premiership or at least get into a grand final with Ponga at the club, he's going to leave after that 3 years. He's going to go somewhere else where he can win a premiership.
Yeah. I mean, he's 26 now, so
3 more years, 29.
He'll be 29.
He's out. He's out the door, mate. And you know what? Yeah. If the signs aren't there in 2026, if we don't make the top 4 or make a grand final, he'll probably try and get out of his contract.
Yeah.
Because you can tell with Ponga, he's a winner. He wants to win a grand final. He's very competitive. He's driven. He wants to play for Queensland. He wants to be at the top. He wants to be, he said it publicly many times. I want to win a premiership.
Yeah.
So that this club, they need to get their shit together in this off season and do everything right in terms of the building blocks for that premiership. And I hope that O'Brien can turn it around and he's the coach there in 26 and 27 and, fulfills his contract and gets the results. But I'm not going to sit in and spend my time and energy doing this podcast and, watching the games and doing press conferences and all this stuff for the people that follow us and for ourselves, so we can make good decisions. Let's face it, that's why we primarily do it, so we can make good takes and make money. But also because we're so passionate about the club and we want to win a grand final. So, look, there it is. That's pretty scathing, and it's a real shit way for O'Brien to end the year in a press conference, because it looks like an absolute muppet there. And look, I apologise for calling him a muppet last week, and I'm calling him a muppet again now. So maybe we're going to have to get used to this. I might even make some Muppet T-shirts with the name on them.
So the Muppet Award of the Year goes to
fucking Adam O'Brien.
All right, there we go.
Rightio.
Yeah.
Mate, shit. And then here's the other thing too. I mean, we'll do more stuff in the review, but I mean, ultimately, there's our record against top 8 teams, and I'll share this on the social. But this year, in 2024, Adam O'Brien thinks, right, that we've made improvements and established our DNA, but we've won 1 out of 10 matches. Now make it 1 out of 11 out of top 8 sides. Go spin your bullshit to some people who want to believe it. But people who watch the United podcast, you got the good oil. You're not going to be bullshitted to. That's what we're all about. And we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep holding them to account until we achieve better outcomes. That's it. Rightio, I've got that off my chest, James. I've run out of my cerveza. This Modus Cerveza. It's quite a good beer. I recommend it. Mexican lager. James on the 4X. I've only had one. I'm going to have another one after this podcast. Look, our pass or fail for the season. We've been over this every single week, James. We've filled out the blanks. We've been through 28 games, 27 rounds, 1 finals match. We lost the finals. Overall, if you make the finals, you get a tick. You get a green tick. You've made the finals. But we were 4 wins short of the top 4. We've now got a mini rebuild that we're facing. And I think overall, James, we've underachieved, and we'll get into it in our review on the 8th of October after the grand final. But do you have any short thoughts there?
No, I agree with you there. I coming into this season, I thought we'd be pushing for that top 4. I think I predicted a top 4 position for us. And I think we've going off last year and where we were sort of the trajectory that we're on, I felt like we underachieved, but like you said, we scraped into the semis, so it's got to be a pass. But that sort of glosses over some glaringly bad things that have happened throughout the season, particularly based on some of AOB's decision making, I think. Yeah.
That's it. So for everyone, tune into our review 8th of October. All right, James. So the betting notes. Well, I posted this on X. This was before the match. So basically, you decided not to bet this week, and I posted here. We think the Knights got a good chance to get the chocolates tonight, but we're not going to be betting, and we're happy to sit on our 40% profit for the year and cheer on the boys. And that's what we did. We cheered on the boys, and we lost, but we didn't lose any of our profit. And if we betted, there's probably a good chance that we might have lost some of that. I probably would have took the Knights at the line plus 8.5, and then they scored that try in the last 2 minutes. That would have fucked the bet. So
yeah,
we won by not betting, and I guess that's been a bit of a theme for the year. And now we're going to now we've got 6 months on the sidelines. So sometimes the best way to win is to not bet, and you only get that through experience and discipline. And James, overall for the year, you got 9% profit. I got 40%. Pulled off a heist as a rookie. You had a profit. You beat the bookies. I pulled off a heist, and we'll go over that in a little bit more detail in the season review. And when we're talking about the season review, as I mentioned, I've got it wrong. I've said it the 8th. It's actually the 9th. Did I get that right? Let me have a double check. No, it is the 8th of October. Just that's good because I've mentioned it about 10 times tonight in the podcast. So it is the 8th of October, not the 9th.
Okay.
So yeah, look, our agenda for that review is going to be a review on club performance, a review on coaching staff performance, a review on the team performance, one by one through the entire roster with a rating out of 10 for each player. We're going to go over our betting performance review and talk about some reasons why we made that 40% return. We've supporter of the year. We've already handed that out to Angelo. And we'll talk a little bit more about the website, the northernpodcast.au, which will be launched, probably be launched before the review. So cool. That's what's coming up. Only one more for the year, James, and we get a bit of a break now. We can just enjoy the finals and get ready for our review and enjoy the finals. And
yeah, it's
not much else to say, is there? God, we've had a lot to say this year, so it's yeah.
I think going through a season like, you know, as deep as we have, like going through this process and analyzing stuff in such a detail, it's how do I put it? It's been, like I've said it multiple times throughout the year, it's been a complete roller coaster, but it's just been very enjoyable, but very frustrating at times as well, because you can see the potential in this team and what they can do. And when that doesn't come to fruition, it sort of annoys you. So coming into next year, I really hope that they can get it right and use this window with Cape. I mean, maybe it won't be next year, like you were saying, maybe 26, 27. We're pushing for something, but it's been an enjoyable year, frustrating, but big learning curve as well, especially for me with the betting and just in general. Us doing this back to back, week to week, you know, getting into the grind and the us improving each week doing this. It's been it's been really cool.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we didn't have any. I mean, you've done some. You want to give your other podcast a shout out? Are you still doing it, James? The music one?
No, I'm not doing it at the moment. But no, anyway, I mean, previous.
You should it's still up there on YouTube, isn't it? Because you did some good stuff there. If you're into kind of that dark side of metal, right? Give it a bit of a shout, huh?
Well, no, I won't be doing that here. Yeah,
do it.
No.
All right.
No. But
if you want to watch James play the guitar, get on Facebook. He plays the guitar pretty well.
But yeah, like my experience back then was, you know, I'd do it occasionally, whereas doing what we do is, you know, it's very regimented and we're we're going to be disciplined with what we do. And for me, that's been really good because I can use that moving forward as well if I decide to go back and do another podcast musically or whatever. So yeah, it's been awesome, man. I've loved it.
Yeah, that's cool. And I guess the reason that it's been formatted like this in a bit more of a I mean the whole thing was about being consistent and making a process and just doing the same thing over and over again and getting better at it. And by doing that and analyzing the data consistently week on week, it allowed us to make good decisions and have good takes. So, you know, you get the facts right, you do the analysis right, you go through a process and then it spits out a result. And that result this year is 40% return on investment in a 6-month period, which is pretty phenomenal in an environment where it's very hard to make money betting. And really, the only way to make money betting is by doing a process like this. And that's one of the reasons the podcast exists and will continue to roll forward, is because I guess I'm teaching people that process and you can see the results there, what it can achieve. And I didn't think we'd get 40%. It's been a great year. But you don't get that kind of result without following a process, going through a methodical decision-making process, doing things consistently, focusing on improvement, managing your emotions. There's a whole lot to it. You know, it's kind of like being a professional football player. You not everyone out there has to be a professional punter or have aspirations to do that, but that's essentially what we're doing here, is kind of showing you how that can be done. The good thing for anyone out there is getting the good oil from us is that all you got to do is, that we're doing that process, and we've got the track runs on the board, track record now, runs on the board. So with that, our reputation, maybe you can lean into us a bit next year with the tips and our takes, and that'll put you in good stead if you're having a bet, putting the Knights into multis, or even if you're looking at if gambling's a bit of a problem for anyone out there. I'm quite passionate about helping people to make better decisions with their betting. It's something that by me doing this podcast, it helps me make better decisions and led to making a monster profit this year. So, anyway, so the process is good for the podcast, for the fans, in terms of getting good information, and also us making good, accurate calls and turning out with a profit at the end of the day. So that's the first year of the Knighthood. Unfortunate, we went down with a loss yesterday, but thank you to everyone who's tuned in, and it's been a good first year. Oh, yeah, God, I can't believe we've been through 28 episodes, eh?
We got through it, yeah. Actually, well, we've still got the review to go, the season review, but that'll be fun. Probably probably see some stuff we don't like, but we'll smash that out and as honestly as we can. And I look forward to seeing you then when we smash that out.
Yeah, now Angelo's got his last chime in for the year. Thanks for the season, and you're basically saying now you can see how much effort we put into it. So
cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. Knighthood supporter of the year. We'll get you a hat for sure. I'm rocking the white and black one, which James doesn't have. James has got the OG. That's he's got the shirt too. What's on the back? You got you want to turn around and show him the back of the shirt? No one's ever seen the back of the shirt.
Can you see it? Fire up.
Oh, there it is. Fire up. There we go. He's got the fire up. So that was that's the OG shirt, OG hat. I'll try and get you one of those, Angelo. If you want to send me a private message with your address, I can't promise on when I'll get it produced, but it will be on our next run when we start looking forward into next year. So, mate, thanks again for all of your support. Any final comments, James? Or we're gonna wrap it up? Well, it's been a long review, but it's been a good one.
Yeah, initially we were like, probably half an hour, and we've gone over. But that's what happens sometimes. You just got to say what needs to be said. No, man, I haven't got anything else to say. It's been a great season. It's been a long and arduous journey, but we've learned a lot, and it's been good to see people like Angelo come along for the ride as well. And hopefully next year we continue that trend and some more people join us. So bring it on. But we've got the review to go, so I'll see you then.
Yep, and then anyone who's tuned in on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe. It helps get it out into the algorithm. And look, we haven't been too active in promoting the podcast this year, but we've laid the foundation now. That was what our objective was at the start of the year, is to prove to ourselves that we could do this. And I think we've done that, James. And now we've got a great foundation to go into next year. So we will be trying to get this out to more people. So like, subscribe, share, talk to your mates about the Knighthood, get it out there. It's also available on Spotify and iTunes, and we have social pages on Facebook and X, and X is used for communication, especially on game day in regards to betting calls and live bets. So look, that's the Knighthood, and that's 2024 wrapped up in terms of matches and finals, and we've only got one review to go. So thanks again, everyone. And James, we're going to go out with I'm going to take us off the screen, and we're going to go out with the Knights, one of the Knights songs as well as the outro. All
right, let's do it.
Look, disappointing end of the season, but up the Knights, and we're only going to get better. Let's focus on getting to a premiership, hopefully by the end of 2027.
That's it.
Thanks, James. Been a good year.
Have a good one.